Hi guys, so welcome to the third video of the 450 Love Bubber question series. So we had already done 10 problems in 2 videos. If you have not watched them, I will share the playlist in the description. You can watch the videos over there. And if you want the link of the questions, it is available in the description of the first video. Maybe I can attach it in this video also, so that's not an issue. So we had solved 10 questions and today we should start with find duplicates in an array of n plus 1 integers. Before that, in yesterday's video, in this problem, union of two arrays, actually I had used set, but I forgot that they expected some time complexity, space complexity of this. So I did this method. So actually this question is not intersection. Intersection of two arrays, you will have to use two pointer method. But because they're only asking union of two arrays, what I did was I just took a Boolean vector, okay? And it's like I'm checking if the value is visited or not. So I think while inserting in a set, it will take log of n time. So now the time complexity and space complexity is proper because it is according to this only, whatever the question is asking us. So yeah, so this is the problem code now. This is the code for the problem. So it's basically like I'm checking if the value is visited or not. I'm doing that in both the arrays A and B, and ultimately I'm keeping a counter variable called answer, which will store all the distinct unique values if it is not visited. Okay. So, and it will print answer. So like this, you can solve yesterday's problem. I just wanted to tell in this video. So now let us go on with today's first problem. Find duplicate of n plus 1 integers. So this is a lead code problem. As you can see over here, I have done something. I have done something already, but this method involves sorting. So this method over here will involve sorting, and basically what is the question? We are given n plus 1 integers and integer range is from 1 to n inclusive. There is only one duplicate number, we have to print that. This is not the best method. Sorting is not the best method, but I think when I was solving it, I did not get any other method. I just did this, it got submitted also. So in today's video, we will look at the most optimal solution, the best solution possible for this question. So to solve this problem, now I have typed the code over here. And actually, I'll type it once again to explain how to get the answer in the most optimal way. What we will be doing is, because there is a chance of having negative and positive numbers, basically the goal will be like make the number positive, and if the number at the index that we are checking will be absolute value of the array element minus 1 because indexing is 0. So at that index, if the element is greater than 0, that is if it is positive, we'll make it negative. If it is not positive, that means it's a repetition. So it is all about making the index, the element at the corresponding indices positive or negative. So this is the most optimal way of writing the code. You can do the test, you can dry run the code by yourself. Actually, I was thinking and I wrote the code, it took some time, but you can dry run it by yourself and you will get to know what I'm saying. So if you want to see if it is correct or not, I can just submit this now. So basically, yeah, it got submitted, and this code, what it actually tells is that the solution is having time complexity O of n and space complexity O of 1. That is why it is most optimal. I don't know any other better solution than this. I'm not able to think of anything else. If somebody knows something, please write in the comments. And actually, in my previous video, not that many people have watched it. I'll put the video link in the description. So please watch that video also, and then you can watch this. So we are increasing the level every video. The questions are arranged like that only. So in this video, this was the solution for this problem, find duplicate number. You can have a look at the code once again here. So now let us see this problem. Merge without extra space. So we're given two sorted arrays. The arrays are already sorted. Each array is sorted in non-decree, that is ascending order. We are supposed to merge the two arrays without taking extra space. So as you can see, I have already done this problem, but I'll write the code once again. So we have to take two arrays. So we will take two arrays, say int A1 and A2. So before that, the lengths of the array n and m, okay? Then two arrays A1 and A2 and some variable I. Let's take the input. And how to solve this without having extra space? So for no extra space, what we will do, let us take a variable j, okay? And let us set I to n minus 1. And j will be equal to 0. And let us say while I greater than 0 and j less than m, we will say if a1 of I is greater than or equal to a2 of I, then we will swap a1 of I with a2 of j. Sorry, it is a2 of j here. So if this condition is not true, then we will break out. After breaking out, let us just sort both the arrays. That is a1 plus n. So like this, we have not used any extra space and we have sorted both the arrays. Now, what is the question asking? So we don't have to output anything. We have to just sort the array. So it is done. So we have sorted both the arrays and yeah, so basically the question is little misleading. The output is given like this, but we don't have to return anything. It is having void as return type. I think we don't have to return anything. We have to just sort it and leave it like that. Let us just submit this. I'm also confused over here a little bit, but this approach is correct. So yeah, so it is correct. This question was a little misleading. I mean, what to return, I did not understand because output was something else. Or maybe they are only outputting that. Yeah, so they are only outputting. So we don't have to do anything. We have to just sort the arrays and leave it like that only. So the key point over here was we have not used any extra space. We have just used this condition that if any element of first array is greater than the second, then we are just swapping. Because ultimately we are printing all the elements of the first array and then all the elements of the second array. So we have to print all, so the elements have to be in ascending order only. That means the first array will have all elements lesser than the second array. I hope you're understanding now. So this is the solution. You can have a look at it again here. And over here, I have to do one more thing. I minus minus and j plus plus. We have to traverse also, na? So this is the code for this problem. So the next problem is Cadence algorithm. We have already done Cadence algorithm in the last video, find largest sum contiguous subarray. So if you have not watched the last video, I will just quickly show you the code. And if you want to know like my explanation and all, you can see the last video. I'll put it in the description. So this is the code for Cadence algorithm. I think almost everybody knows it, but if you're a very beginner in programming or learning DSA right now, maybe then you might not know, but this is very standard. This code handles negative and positive numbers also. So let us go to the next problem then. Next problem for today will be merge intervals. So given a collection of intervals, we have to merge all the overlapping intervals. Okay, so the best way to solve this problem will be, so let us first look at the test case, okay? Intervals are like this. So you can see interval 1, 3, 2, 6, both of them are merged as 1 and 6 because they are overlapping. So what is the best solution for this? I'll write the code and I'll tell you. I shall write the code. So I've written the code for this problem. In this problem, what we need to do is we have to first sort the uh, given vector of vectors. Okay. So we're basically given a list. So we have to sort that. The list is like upper boundary and lower boundary of every interval. And after sorting, what we should do, we should keep a track of the lower boundary of current interval and upper boundary of previous interval. And we have to compare these two. Okay, we have to make such comparisons. The comparisons are like if it is, if the current boundary, current interval's lower boundary is greater than, the previous interval's upper boundary, then we have to add an interval to the answer. Otherwise, the intervals are overlapping and we have to update the maximum. So that is what I've written over here. So that is how you solve this. It's a question on sorting, and these kind of questions are solved like this only. So first sort the array, then we have to check the current interval's lower boundary and previous interval's upper boundary. If current interval lower boundary greater than previous interval's upper boundary, then we have to add it to the resultant vector. That is over here, my answer vector is res. So we have to add it to that. Otherwise, we have to update the maximum. See, maximum in this case will be res dot back, the upper boundary of the last interval. That will be maximum. So we have to update that. So that is how you solve this problem, merge intervals. So this is also pretty standard one. There are other questions, wherein like intervals only, it becomes like a greedy approach, wherein they will say these many customers are coming in a restaurant at this particular time interval. We have to find maximum number of customers. So as we move further, we will get such kind of problems also. Solving those problems has a greedy approach. For this, sorting will be fine, I think. If you have a better solution, please let me know. So I have solved the problem like this. So next problem is find the next permutation. So actually I've already solved this using STL. STL already has like next permutation. So next permutation means if suppose we are given an array 1, 2, 3, next permutation, next greater permutation will be 1, 3, 2. But how to do this problem without using STL? In interviews and all, they will not know what is STL. Like in some of my internship tests, they did not even know C++ only. Most of them knew Java, and also for them, these things and all very vague. So they expect you to tell them something better. So how do you solve without using STL? So to save some time, I wrote the code and I'll be telling you what I wrote and how I approached it. So I will keep a flag variable. Initially, it is false. And I will traverse through the vector from right to left. And I will check for this condition. That is, if an element is greater than its right neighbor, then I will say flag is true and I will break out. If flag is true, then I will perform this. So I think this can be replaced with swap operation. So I can just write like this only, swap nums of j and nums of I minus 1. Okay, so I will just swap this and I will break out. But we have to return nothing. It's a return type having void. We have to sort the array at the last, but sorting will be from index I. That is, if there is no such element that satisfies this condition, we will make I as 0. That means it is the greatest possible permutation, and the next permutation after the greatest possible permutation will be the sorted array in ascending order. That's all. But if that is not the case, that means flag is true. That means there is a next permutation greater than the given vector. That time we do this. So this is also pretty straightforward, easy problem only. If you read the question by yourself, I hope you're doing this. I hope you're reading the question first, because if you are just depending on this video, I don't think anything will happen. Read the question, try it by yourself, and then see the solution over here. Maybe mine is better than yours, or if yours is better, please let me know. Ultimately, both of us are learning only. So this is how I was going to approach it. STL you can use because over here, I mean, if it's a online round, it will obviously work. But in the interviews and all, they don't like STL. From my internship test experience, I can tell you that hashing, hash maps, set and all, mostly they don't like it. Even, these kind of STL, even sorting function, they expect you to, do merge sort or quick sort. They don't want you to just write the sort function for STL. So keep that in mind. So this is how you approach this problem. You can have a look at the code once more. So for this video, I think that's it. It will become too long. Next video, we'll start with count inversion. Now the questions become tougher and more interesting also. So please share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, show some support by liking my videos if you really do like it. And don't forget to share it and subscribe, because that really motivates me a lot. And sorry for making a video very late today. I had some college work. Tomorrow, maybe by afternoon, I'll try to upload the video. I'm really not sure exactly when, but I'll try my best to upload it early. So thank you for watching and bye.